Dips during crypto bull markets, while short-lived, offer some of the best opportunities to be able to buy into coins at good value. However, right now there is a lot of coins that are very popular that I personally would be heavily avoiding, and a lot of really underrated coins that give us some incredible buying opportunities on days like today. And with crypto expecting some incredibly big news later on today that could shake the markets once more, we don't have much time left to get into this dip. So do me a favor, hit that like button and let's find out which coins I'm talking about. Now guys, Bitcoin has been experiencing a little bit of downside that has seen the rest of the altcoin market looking a little bit shaky. And this is all expected in bull markets. Whilst we're not early at all in a Bitcoin bull market, we are quite early when it comes to some of the altcoins. And that's why we're still seeing a lot of volatility when Bitcoin shows weakness. Right now, we've seen Bitcoin fall to $103,500 and is now finding support above $104,000. But later on today, there's a news event that could likely pump crypto once more, giving us a very short window to be able to get into some of our favorite coins. Now, what is it? Well, the FOMC interest rate decision from the US Federal Reserve. I'm not going to go into the depths of this, but it's likely we're going to see a 25 basis point cut to interest rates. And this is very positive because it makes for more favorable investment conditions. In fact, in the last bull market, we should have seen a longer bull run. However, it was cut short by interest rates going up. And that's all you really need to know. Okay, interest rates going down is a good thing. So which are the coins that we should avoid buying the dip for? And I'm sorry if you've already done it, but hopefully this is going to be useful for you. Now, recently, we've seen a lot of coins outperforming the rest of the market, particularly after the US election results saw Donald Trump getting in. We saw the likes of XRP, Cardano, HBAR, and a bunch of others seeing massive pumps towards the upside, which was obviously excellent for those people who'd kept the faith in those coins over the last few years. However, I know this is going to be a very unpopular thing to say, but you've got to be very cautious of buying the dip on coins like XRP, Cardano, etc. right now. And I know what you're going to say, but it's nothing personal against those coins. Let me just show you the example. Before you get your angry keyboard fingers out and start writing down in the comments, this guy doesn't know anything, allow me to explain to you why it's dangerous to buy the dip on coins like XRP. Now, assuming that lots of you out there are smart investors and you've been buying down into XRP at like 43 cents and 53 cents, and then suddenly a coin pumps up like this, and if you've got time still to be able to watch me in between sipping your champagne and tapping yourself on the back as a legendary XRP investor, well then hopefully I'm going to be able to tell you something useful. If you were buying down here, and let's say your average price, just for the sake of my maths ability, which is limited, we're buying at, let's say, 50 cents, and you put in, for the sake of this argument, $100. You're happy right now because your $100 has gone 5x and become $500 up at this level here, which is obviously fantastic. Now, XRP did take a little bit of a dip the other day, all the way down around 24%, coming down to, let's say, 1.9. Now, that's obviously all well and good, but here's the problem. If that dip takes place and you then go and ape in another $100 or so like this, effectively what you've done now is bring up the average price that you've paid from somewhere down here to somewhere like, let's say, up here. I don't know specifically the maths, okay, but it brings your average price paid up. Now, this is your profitability margin, okay, because before XRP would have to go all the way down below this for you to be in the red, okay, but here now is you in the red. There's a very big problem with this because if you keep buying when there isn't really any significant dips on coins, especially after a very big pump like this where you're already up a lot, it's really going to drag up the average price you've paid, which isn't so good. Same thing on Cardano, right? If you'd bought in down here, you would have been up like 4x, okay? Right now, you're still up 3x, okay? But recently, we saw this little dip here. So if you bought in on this dip down here, where it's kind of pulled back 20% or so, and you go and try and throw in another $100, and guess what? Your average price paid is no longer this, it's now something like this. Now, this is fine. Obviously, you know, you're expecting Cardano to continue higher, you're expecting XRP to continue higher, but there's a problem. These coins have already seen some significant upside, and you've already benefited mostly from that. Now, for you to keep buying into those same coins, you've got to ask yourself, who else is going to continue to buy into those same coins as well? Bearing in mind, if you look across to Google Trends, XRP, in terms of the attention it got, was 4 times bigger than it had ever got before. This means that everyone was already looking at it. And you've got to ask yourself, if everyone is already looking at it, who is left to buy in? And I know the stories you're going to tell me about it like taking over the world and all this excitement and all these things, but crypto trading right now is all just an attention game. Okay, you want to go into the coins with less attention on them, okay, rather than the coins with lots of attention on them. And this is what we said the other day on a video where I said that XRP was getting a lot of attention. It would likely see a cool off. Yes, it will go higher in the future. But if I was you, I would just be holding the bag that you bought down here, be happy to be in profit. And if you now have just got yourself a Christmas bonus or a salary or something else, or you've got into selling bird boxes or something else in your spare time, okay, and you've got some cash on the side, don't use it to ape into coins that you're already significantly up on. Be damn glad you're significantly up on them. You can keep telling everyone how much of a legend you are at trading, of course. But you can then go and try and make some money in coins that haven't yet seen this aggressive growth. Now, where is the easiest way to find some easy gains in this crypto bull market? Well, for those of you who are subscribed to the House of Crypto and have been for the last couple of months, you probably know where I'm going with this, because we've managed to do this multiple times. We did it with Sui, we did it with Base. By understanding that these ecosystems boomed because of one reason, and probably one reason alone, and underneath these ecosystems, certain types of coins saw some significant gains, like Cetus, which is a DEX on Sui that did a 7x after we featured it on a video, an aerodrome on Base that's currently up 173% since we talked about what was going on in Base. Then you'll understand that it's really easy to find the next ones. Remember, the ones that people aren't yet talking about, because everyone is only talking about coins here that are already going up a lot. Okay, you're already looking for those coins every day, right? I know what you're doing. You're going to crypto bubbles, you're looking for the biggest green bubble, and then what you're going to go and do is go and try and buy that coin. You've got to stop doing that, okay? Every time you're buying those big green candles, this is a candle, by the way, chances are you get a big red one the next day, okay? As we can see here with Aerodrome, for example. But if you can start finding the coins that are down here that no one's really looking at, then life becomes incredibly easy. And I've got a few of those coming up later on. So what do we need to look at? How do we identify these ecosystems that have been booming? Well, we look at booming ecosystems that have boomed before and are booming again. Solana is the biggest, easiest one to look at. DeFiLlama.com, free website. Click here on Solana. Click on TVL. This means total value locked. Now, if you come back to the last bull market for Solana, you can see that the TVL was pretty massive. $9.3 billion. TVL is all the money that's locked up in all the protocols that are built on Solana. Okay, Solana is like the digital city. We've talked about this before, right? Probably. Solana's the digital city, and then these are all the little services that are within there. I've just flicked to Avalanche, but you know what I mean. These are all the decentralized applications that are built on Solana. So think of them like the restaurants and the bars and the services that are all built on top of Solana. Okay. If we look at the TVL and we look at the volume, you'll notice that in the last bull market, the volume on Solana was terrible. Okay, so the volume doesn't seem to be necessary to see a big pump in the price of a layer 1 coin, although probably it is useful. Because right now we're seeing like $5 billion, mostly just degens trading meme coins. But you get the picture, okay? Anyway, TVL, incredibly important on Solana. We then saw this happening on Sui, okay? And we saw this happening on Sui in the summer in September. We noticed this would happen. We invested in Sui. We invested in coins on Sui, and we made a killing. Cetus up 6x. And that was actually going here and looking at the TVL and being like, it's going up. And then going down here and then being like, show me a DEX that's been increasing a lot in TVL. And some of these you can find. Pretty easy, right? But Sui fits into the brackets of coins that I wouldn't be buying the dip on, because the dip we've had on Sui is a whopping 7.8%, given that Sui since August is up a whopping 9, nearly 10x, which is absolutely ludicrous, by the way. That's not really a worthwhile dip to buy, okay? Because if you're up 10x, you put $100 in down here, you don't want to just bang another $100 in here, right? Because if it comes down, you're now dragging your kind of average price paid from this to like, I don't know, that, which is not cool. You don't want to be doing that. And all the protocols under Sui have also been performing really well. So what do we need to do? Well, you're right. Well, if your answer is we need to go through some of the other protocols and we need to identify ones that are a little earlier in their life cycle than perhaps Sui or Solana is right now, then you will be absolutely bang on. And this is Avalanche. We've talked about Avalanche looking pretty good. Okay, a lot of volume returning, but the TVL seems a little bit limited. However, Avalanche is going to see a lot more activity coming to the chain, and the price of Avalanche is still relatively low. That means that Avalanche has a lot left in the tank. Simply, this is how crypto works. When something's been pumping, there is less left in the tank. When it's lower down, it has a lot more in the tank to give. Hopefully this is all making sense, okay? All we've simply done so far, let's just recap, okay? We've looked at stuff that has performed well in the past, and then we've understood why it performed well. And then all we're doing is identifying the stuff that is showing the same telltale signs before it pumps, so that we can buy in and get ourselves the 9, 10x exciting times that perhaps we're not going to see in the SUIs, the XRPs and Cardanos anymore. So what do we like to buy into? I personally like to buy into decentralized exchanges on these chains, because guess what? When these coins go up in value, typically the volume increases massively as well. Where does everyone like to trade? Everyone likes to start trading different coins on Avalanche, and they like to trade them through a DEX, a decentralized exchange. Now, there is a couple of DEXs that I've talked about before on the channel, but one in particular has caught my eye once more because the chart just looks fantastic, and that's Pangolin. Now, you could go and invest in Avalanche, right? It's a great coin. It represents an incredible ecosystem. We're seeing some big games being launched on Avalanche soon. We've seen an incredible partnership with Amazon Web Services form, which is obviously very exciting, which means Avalanche will do well. But it's like a $16 billion market cap right now, okay? And that means it's probably not going to do a 10x during this bull market, because that would make it nearly as big as XRP is right now. And to be honest, I don't think that's going to happen. Therefore, find coins on Avalanche that will benefit from the growth of that Avalanche ecosystem in a far bigger way. And that for me would be Pangolin at $76 million. Okay, so $76 million, you might be thinking, that's kind of big, right? But Cetus, the one on Sui, is at 250 million right now. And Sui is a brand new chain with a market cap smaller than Avalanche. But it's seen a lot of attention because a lot of excitement is going on in Sui right now. That attention will start to shift to things like Avalanche in the future and blow it up. If you want to see some bigger DEXs, see some bigger potential there, then think about Solana's DEXs. Jupiter, $1.3 billion. This is nearly a 20x for Pangolin to achieve this same market cap. I actually think Jupiter is primed for a big pump as well. If you want to invest in Solana ecosystem, I would suggest that probably Jupiter gives you one of the better entries, because Jupiter is still fairly calm, still forming this nice kind of entry pattern down here. Now, if you've been subscribed to the channel, you'll recognize some of these patterns that I've been drawing. But actually, while this is not the tidiest, don't worry, what we can see is we have a breakdown towards the downside. We create the rounded base. Right now, in fact, Jupiter is back to retest this. I do think that Jupiter swap probably is going to see some significant upside, much bigger than you'll see in Solana, because Solana is already massive. Okay, but this will benefit from that. Anyway, I digress. Pangolin looks like a reasonable bet. There is Trader Joe, but it's just got a bigger market cap. I would say the Pangolin is a decent bet on the Avalanche blockchain, but what do I know? Okay, not financial advice, of course. Go and do your own research. I think that Pangolin's probably good for 15 to 20x during this bull market. Before I jump across and tell you about the next coins, which I think have the biggest upside potential, and yes, I've left them to last for a bit of excitement and drama, let me tell you where you can pick up these coins, because I know a lot of you are down below in the comments right now being like, where the fuck do I buy this coin? Tell me where to buy it. Well, I'm going to tell you. Keep your eyes peeled, listen. Click the link down below, either for MEXC or Bitunix. MEXC is pretty much the cheapest trading exchange. It has over 4,500 different altcoins. So this is the answer to your question. Where do I buy these coins? You buy them on MEXC, link down below. Or you can use Bitunix, which has a lot of coins as well. Again, has incredibly cheap fees, but unlike MEXC, it does not require a KYC. So if you are finding it difficult to access MEXC because of the country you live in, then how about you try Bitunix, also linked down below. Also has a lot of coins available. Definitely has Pangolin for sure. Anyway, I invite you to go and look at DeFiLlama.com and have a look down below at some of the other projects down here that are seeing some exciting changes in the TVL, the total value locked. You could sort by 7-day change, and you can go and look at some of these other sort of smaller ones. So for example, ApeX Pro, never even heard of it, okay? Up 265% in the last week in its TVL. Maybe that's a little bit on the small side. You're going a little bit risky if you're going sub $100,000. If you want to go for it, fill your boots, okay? But this one, what's this? Cross curve, $1.4 million, up 23% in the last week. There's some exciting stuff being shown here that no one's talking about right now. Here's how you do it. Now, there are other ecosystems around, but there is one ecosystem that I haven't been following closely in the last few days. I've been following it closely because I've actively been trading it, because I've been a bit bored. Market's been up and down. I've been leverage trading some Aptos, Okay, it hasn't necessarily gone in my favor right now, but I'm still pretty confident. What I've seen in Aptos is actually it's performing quite strongly against Sui right now, which is interesting because both the teams from Sui and Aptos came from the same place. They were both working for Meta, the old Facebook, on the Libra blockchain project, which kind of fell through, but then they went off and formed their own ultra high-tech proof-of-stake blockchains, quite similar, and they're both running on the Move programming language, which I know for many is getting too technical, but anyway. Aptos is very similar in terms of tech to Sui, but hasn't really performed with quite such gusto during this bull market. Now, currently, the TVL of Aptos is just going bananas. Well, the price of Aptos isn't really doing a huge amount. Now, the volume looks pretty good. Nothing like it is on Sui or whatever, but it's still pretty good. And the TVL has me very interested, okay? Because this just continues to go higher, but the price of Aptos continues to kind of waver around a bit. And if we look at Aptos, on a weekly chart, you can see it shows a very similar pattern almost to Ethereum, although Ethereum's is a bit more elongated. I do think that this pattern is telling us something very key. We are breaking out on Ethereum. We've come back to retest. I do think this pumps very soon, and the coins that are kind of matching very similar chart patterns to the Ethereum chart pattern will likely run with Ethereum. Okay, so Aptos looks pretty primed to break out from this sort of $12 to $14 range. I thought it was going to do it yesterday. Hence why I'm not feeling so good about my trades right now, but I'm still fairly confident in where Aptos is going. So, without further ado, let's jump down below and look at some of the changes that have been going on for Aptos. Now, we can have a look at various different projects, okay? And yes, I would suggest that you go and look at some of these in slightly more detail. Status is basically available on Aptos and is also available on Sui, but it's already seen some significant upside. We're looking for coins that are kind of primed and ready to break out when Aptos breaks out, okay? Having gone down through the list already, I can tell you that Solana Finance is pretty interesting and worth taking a look at. There are others here that also are of interest to me, but there's one in particular that I've been noticing more recently, and that is Liquid Swap, or Pontum, ticker symbol LSD, mainly because it's showing a really significant increase in volume, which for DEX is pretty handy, and the TVL also surging towards the upside, while the market cap remains very, very small indeed. While the market cap currently, I believe, is under $10 million, which makes this a significant play on Aptos, which is a multi-billion-dollar monster. Remember, these are small cap coins, so they do come with their own risks, but you're basically betting on the success of the large cap, and this is like your leverage play on the large cap success. So, for example, this is a small market cap coin on Aptos. If Aptos goes and does a 4x, the likes of this coin will go and do a 10x. Okay, I'm pretty confident because it will grow with Aptos, but with a smaller market cap, it will blow up much faster. I can go through the website, learn more, have a look and study into the team, things like that. But I'm literally looking at this from the perspective of a chart, what it basically represents and what we've seen already happen on various chains. It's backed by tier 1 VCs like Delphi Digital, Animoca Brands is tier 2, but you know, it's getting some good interest. It's a very interesting, underrated project, in my personal opinion. And look at this chart for a prime place to be buying the dip, okay? So, yes, you could go and buy the dip on Aptos or whatever, okay? But why would you buy the dip on Aptos? Because Aptos is up from here around 237%. Therefore, if it pulls back to here and you're trying to buy into it again, you're just pulling up your average price paid. It doesn't really bring down your average price paid that much because this dip is really not that big, okay? This would be like, if you bought here and it came down, this would be buying the dip, okay? But buying this little candle down here isn't really buying the dip. Therefore, I think you're better off buying into some other coins within that ecosystem that also will benefit. Anyway, I digress. Going across to LSD, here you can see significant dip after the launch back in August. Fairly classic, okay? Lots of VCs taking out their money, not enough liquidity in the market to support this. In fact, launching at the end of July was probably the most brutal time to launch because on August the 5th, we saw that massive sell-off across crypto. Anyway, stiff, solid recovery into this very bullish pattern. It wouldn't surprise me that when Aptos breaks beyond that resistance band, that we see LSD pumping and breaking beyond here significantly. And I do think this project is going to send. I do heavily believe in Aptos right now as being one of the hottest, most underrated layer ones out there. Now, I do not want you to just go and ape into this coin or any other coin, okay? What I'm trying to show you is there is process here. It's very straightforward, guys. Go and look at previous performance of various winners and stop being like, is it too late to buy Solana? Yes. Is it too late to buy Sui? Yes, it is. Okay, for now, yes, it is, because you haven't had enough pullbacks, and yes, they can go higher. But why do you want to just get a bit more higher when you could go into some other coins at the bottom? Okay, you don't need to be buying into the tops of coins. So just use the ones that have done well. Solana, study them. Look at this. Okay, just see what I'm looking at. TBL, volume looking good. And look, this was Coinbase. Okay, we saw the same thing happening. Okay, Avalanche, a little bit quiet right now. You can see it starting to creep up. Probably a good one to look at. Aptos has been running very strongly. Price in terms of performance versus what we've seen in Sui is nothing. So that's what I'm betting on. Now, guys, if you got this far through the video, I urge you to smash that like button. Thank you very much for doing it. It's really helping me out more than you know. If you are not yet subscribed and you want to learn more about how to actually fish in these crypto markets like I've just been showing you, then make sure you are subscribed, guys. Notification bell turned on. We will go through this bull market. I will teach you how to be better at this game. The only way that you're going to win in this crypto bull market is by understanding the things that I'm going to teach you, because blindly buying into crypto coins that someone's talking about on YouTube or blindly buying something you heard on Twitter is going to get you absolutely wrecked. I see it time and time again. Stop buying the tops of coins that everyone's giving the attention to, because that's when you get wrecked. Remember this, XRP, everyone wanted to buy in when the maximum attention was on. What happens next? It dumps towards the downside. People sell in panic. Now XRP is quiet. No one wants to talk about it. It's probably a better time to buy in. But, you know, this is how to buy in at coins that are yet to do that 4 or 5x that we've seen in Cardano's and XRPs and HBARs, okay? Quantum Swap, Pangolin, you get the picture. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.